Hi everyone, Dr. Linda Manning here in Ottawa, Ontario with this week's episode of the OCISO Career Mentorship Program series on job search strategies for immigrants in the Canadian workplace. We call this series Managing Your Career on Purpose. In previous sessions, we talked about career convergence as a method for making sure that the skills that you have are used in your work and that the jobs you take help you get the skills you need for that ideal job. You've heard me talk about Dr. Paul Hatala, who is an expert in strategic job search management and social capital development. Dr. Hatala is also the creator of an online job search management tool called SnagPad, which leads the job seeker through the job search process. It helps you stay organized and to use your social network. The process is evidence-based, and the system acts like a virtual job coach or a mentor. It's an even more powerful tool if you use the system with your mentor or employment counselor. Dr. Hatala did the research behind SnagPad, and he's a well-known expert in the strategic job search research and development. I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Hatala here today. He has very graciously agreed to share some of his knowledge with us. Welcome, JP. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Linda. It's my pleasure.
Over the past few weeks, the OCISO Mentoring Program video series has generated lots of excitement among immigrant job seekers. There are some questions that have come up, and I'd like to get your response to a couple of them.
Sounds good.
First, what would you say is the biggest challenge for any job seeker in today's market?
Well, Linda, we know there's a number of different challenges impacting a job seeker, but what I've found through my own experience and research is that the notion of a job seeker not having any structure in the job search. So we often say looking for work is like a full-time job, when in fact it's more like self-employment, because the job seeker is responsible for determining what they need to do and when they need to do it throughout the process. And what we found, when you have structure, it actually provides motivation, believe it or not. So if we're comfortable knowing what we have to do, we're more likely going to remain motivated throughout that process or that job search. And ultimately, motivation is key to having a successful job search, because we know it's a date-driven process and it takes time to find employment. So obviously, the more you can remain motivated throughout the process, the more likely you are to be successful.
Okay, good. Would you say that there's a particular mistake that job seekers make?
Yeah, probably one of the most typical mistakes job seekers make is that they apply to everything. They just apply, and that's partly due to technology. In today's or during today's job search, you can go online and click on apply, and it's as easy as that. But what we found is it's problematic in two ways. The first way, that it essentially demotivates the job seeker, because the internet is such a competitive platform, meaning everybody goes to it because it's so easy, that typically there's no feedback. So when there is no feedback, it hurts individual motivation. And it hampers, the desire to move forward. The second thing is when they're applying to everything and quickly, they're not really thinking strategically about the job search process and how that particular opportunity, fits into their overall job search plan, versus kind of holding back and thinking about how can I better my odds in actually getting an interview.
So the very desire to apply for jobs actually tends to work against people because they're not putting enough thought into the process of applying?
Yeah, exactly. It's a counterintuitive kind of thing. You would think the more jobs you apply to, the better it is, just a numbers game. When in fact, as you just mentioned, it's stepping back and thinking, okay, how can I best position myself for this opportunity? So, for example, are there any contacts that I have that are connected to that organization? And if there are, maybe I could talk to them first before applying to get some more information. Or things like maybe I can attempt to contact the employer prior to submitting my application to, again, find out more information about the position. And then as a result of gathering that information, I can tailor my resume or my cover letter to fit that particular opportunity. So yes, when you get trigger happy, as we say, meaning every time you see an apply button, you click on it, you don't have that opportunity to kind of go through that process, and that's essentially what we're suggesting is to kind of delay the process of applying.
And be a bit more deliberate in the way that you do it.
Absolutely, be more strategic,
Okay.
and positioning yourself in a way that ultimately increase your chances of getting an interview. That's ultimately the first step in the process, but. Essentially, it's kind of, again, stepping back and saying, okay, if this is the job that I want, how can I best position myself? And also making the decision, so if this isn't a job that fits into my long-term plans, why am I applying to it in the first place? So again, it's thinking strategically and determining whether or not this position makes sense. Because remember, the more we apply to, and the more feedback we don't get back, or the less feedback we get, the more it's going to hurt our motivation, and that's not good for a job search.
I see. Okay. So I know you've developed an online tool called SnagPad to help job seekers and their employment counselors and coaches. This tool wasn't developed for immigrant job seekers specifically in mind. Do you think it would be useful for immigrants? And how does this tool work to help job seekers?
Yeah, it was developed for job seekers. Job seekers. So regardless of whether you're a newcomer, or you're unemployed, or you're looking for a promotion, it's intended to help all those folks. A wide audience of job seekers. And essentially, what it does is it provides structure. It makes the job search tangible, or should I say, something that can be touched and seen and see exactly what's going on. What happens with job seekers as they conduct a job search? Um, it's not really tangible. They just know what they've applied to, and it's kind of out there. With SnagPad, it actually manages them through a set of strategies and steps so that they can actually visually see what's going on in the job search, which ultimately provides structure, and hopefully it maintains a level of motivation for the job seeker to kind of continue doing the right things during the job search. But essentially, what it does is it delays the application process, because users of SnagPad really go out and look for job leads, look for job postings, and bring it back to SnagPad, and the system walks them through a set of strategies so that they can increase the odds of getting an interview. Once they've gone through the strategies, then they apply for the position. So we're kind of putting SnagPad there first because it really delays it and gets them to think strategically about what's the best chances for improving the odds of getting a job. And then in addition to that, it helps them to kind of manage all of these opportunities that they're identifying. And if the system recognizes that, say, for example, you're short or low on opportunities, it'll make suggestions on where you can go for those types of opportunities. For example, it's not all online where job leads come from. It's from the hidden job market as well.
So it helps to slow down that process and make things more deliberate, and actually teaches the user what a job search strategy and what strategic job search is?
Exactly. So in essence, it helps the job seeker learn. I work. One of my colleagues had always said, we are trained to do jobs. We're not trained to look for jobs. And what SnagPad does is, as you said, it teaches the user to become more strategic, become more deliberate in their actions, which ultimately, if they're doing the right things day in, day out, they learn this behavior and ultimately increases their chances of job search success.
How much does it cost for a user to use SnagPad? Is it different for job seekers than it is for job counselors or employment agencies?
Well, a good question as well. There is no cost to the job seeker whatsoever, so they can go in and use the system and kind of manage the job search process on their own. With employment agencies, there's a nominal monthly fee per coach that can actually go in and manage and monitor a set of clients or a set of job seekers. So they'll actually be able to see what the job seeker is seeing so that they can offer suggestions on helping them do what they're doing better.
So how can a job seeker get access to SnagPad? Can they sign up and start using it?
Absolutely. Through this series of your videos, we've actually created an account that they can go into, and all they would have to point their browser to is www.snagpad.com/Hatala, Hatala. They can there go to that site, click on the button that says sign up as a job seeker, and start using the system right away.
Great. Thanks, JP. Is there anything else you want to tell us about SnagPad?
Yeah, and I'll just add to it again. It's provide structure, a framework. There's a small profile that the job seeker will fill out. There's also 2 online learning modules that are embedded in the system that they can kind of go through and get a better look at not only strategic job search management, but social capital development, which is essentially networking. And there's also a built-in aggregator, so there's some opportunities that they can identify right away. But the last thing, which I think is the most important, is that if a job seeker is just looking for job leads in the traditional sources, meaning job boards or newspaper or through different types of centers, it's going to be problematic. They got to tap the hidden job market, and tapping the hidden job market is about speaking to friends, speaking to family members, speaking to community members, and so forth, and really getting out there and networking and trying to find out where that job-related information exists.
Thank you, JP. Thanks for generously sharing your knowledge of job search strategies and for sharing access to SnagPad with our viewers. I know you haven't mentioned it yet, but I know the account that you've set up for our viewers will not only provide the free access to SnagPad available to all job seekers, but you'll also provide limited coaching for those who sign up with www.snagpad.com/Hatala. I bet everyone will sign up as soon as they finish watching this video. I'm thinking there may be mentors or employment counselors who are watching the video too. I can imagine they might want to sign up as a job seeker and try it out and see how it works for job seekers. Even if they never purchase a license to SnagPad, they will have gained tremendous value, I think. And I'd like to say also that you've agreed to provide a limited number of subscriptions for OCISO volunteer career mentors.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about, discussion. And the thing with job seeking is that it's not a science, that there's different approaches to it. And the more discussion that practitioners have and job seekers have, I think the better it is for everyone.
Thanks again, JP. So there you have it, everyone. We've learned that the number one challenge for the job seeker is to keep motivation levels high. And you'll remember from earlier episodes that being realistic and staying active, and above all, always strategic, can help keep your motivation high. One of the biggest mistakes that job seekers make is to apply too often to too many jobs. This approach is not very effective in today's labor market, and you can get discouraged. Following a strategic approach will slow down the process for you. You'll make fewer applications for sure, but you'll get a higher likelihood of response from employers and interviews. Dr. Hatala gave everyone special access to SnagPad with limited coaching for a short while. Go to www.snagpad.com/Hatala for this special access. You can always go to www.snagpad.com and sign up as a job seeker anytime for free. Or if you're a job coach or employment counselor, try it out as a job seeker for free, and if you think it'll be useful to you, sign up as a job coach. If you're an OCISO volunteer career mentor and want to try out the job coach tool, look for an email from Hedia Azad at OCISO. Details will also be posted on the screen below this video. Take a look. And SnagPad is a great tool, but it's not the only tool or strategy out there. I invite everyone to share, using the comment section below, your knowledge about tools and strategies that you know about, that you've used, that you've found successful. Share your knowledge with other viewers. And come back next time when we'll bring you another job search strategy. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.